Yes, everyone, welcome back. Glad to be back after being ill these past few days. As you can tell by my voice, I'm still not perfect, but we have many reports to break down and discuss that have released these past 24 hours. So my friends, if you're glad to see me back, hit that like button. And to give you guys a bit of a heads up, I'm not going to go crazy with the edit for this one because I'm still not perfect, but as I get better, hopefully by Monday at least, then of course expect the quality to go back to normal. So thanks for understanding, and without wasting any more time, now let's get the quick reports out the way first, and we discuss loan news as David Fofana now has officially signed for Burnley on loan. They've announced this today from their club and from our club as well too, and this is a pure loan until the end of the season. There is no option to buy included whatsoever. Now you might be wondering, Nini, I thought Fofana was set to go to Sevilla. Why is he at Burnley right now? It simply comes down to this. We had one international loan spot left, and we've used that for Ian Maatsen instead, which I think was the best decision. Hence why Fofana gets a domestic loan in the Premier League, which I think still works out for him very well. I think Burnley, there is nothing to lose in that sense. They're set to get relegated, and I think after how he had his struggles in the environment at Union Berlin, especially in a season where Berlin are doing way worse compared to last season, I think going to a club where the expectations aren't really high right now is going to be that perfect footballing reset for Fofana to, play more individualistically, to play as football, to attack, and to feel important and integral in the team, knowing the fact that he is also earning some Premier League experience, which may help him earn a potential better Premier League loan for next season if he does well. So I think it makes sense for him to come back to this country where the club can really monitor him very closely. And I think working under company, where we've had a lot of success with Ian Maatsen's time at Burnley as well too, playing under a forward-thinking manager, I think that could be a good long move for Fofana to just reset his football and come back to doing what he does best. So good luck to Fofana. I'm really hoping he does well. And for the other quick story, Ian Maatsen has already completed his move to Borussia Dortmund, and in fact he has started the game against Darmstadt this evening, and I do think that maybe Dortmund have already taken the lead, and I hope this is a great sign that this is set to become a very successful loan move for Ian Maatsen. Now the great news is there is no option to buy included in this deal. There is no obligation to buy. This is a straight loan until the end of this season, but for this move to go through, Maatsen had to agree to signing a contract extension. It wasn't a long-term one, it was by another year, which now means his contract expires in 2026. And I think this is the best move for all parties, if I'm being real with you. I do think that Maatsen has that potential where own him for longer to assess how he progresses and develops. And I think if he performs very well at Dortmund, who knows if he comes back next season, pre-season, with new light and gets seen differently, or maybe someone decides to buy him for more money and for the valuations we were receiving for him during the last summer window. So I do think that there's no lose-lose in this situation here, and I'm really excited to see what Maatsen does alongside Sancho in the Bundesliga. I think that this is the perfect move for Ian. He's got great potential. I think he has kind of stalled a little bit naturally because for whatever reasons, Pochettino doesn't feel like he is suited at playing left back for the team right now. But I do think that going to Germany, playing in a league that really knows how to take young players' games to the next level, for a Dortmund team renowned for being able to, improve young players, and for a Dortmund team that play attacking football as well too, I do think that this is going to be a very successful loan for Ian, and I'm hoping that he really starts to show what he's really about and finds that full confidence again in this game. So how do you guys feel about this? That's loan news out the way. So now let's discuss some transfer news, and we discuss an interesting story floating around surrounding Paulo Dybala. Now last week it was reported in Italy that we had expressed interest in potentially making a move for Dybala, with small conversations being had to assess the possibility of a move in this window. I guess we'd have to also cast our minds back to the summer, where before we made any signings official, we remember those reports. Pochettino wanted experience, and one of the players that was doing the numbers at the time was Paulo Dybala. I remember there were many favourable words coming out from Chelsea players over the potential links around him, especially from Enzo Fernandez. And I do think that in Pochettino's system, Dybala does suit that Eriksen type of role, which is now being filled by Cole Palmer. So is there potential for us to sign this guy? Let's see. As we all know, any foreign club outside of Italy have the opportunity to buy him outright by activating his €12 million release clause. That's crazy. But the catch is you must activate it by this Monday coming up. So listen, it becomes very interesting. I understand that. And when you know that Nkunku might be out for a while too, is there potential for us to explore a move for Dybala? Now, I've got my opinions, but I'm going to continue talking first before I give them. Obviously, Pochettino was a bit concerned around what's happening with Nkunku. I think from what I'm hearing recently at the time of recording, I think there is some positivity that maybe Nkunku might be back a bit sooner now. Fingers crossed the reports I'm hearing are correct, and in fact that is the reality. But if we cast our minds back to yesterday's press conference, Pochettino revealed the fact that, listen, I don't have much clear confirmation around Nkunku, and when he's set to return, it's making me a bit worried. I'm not going to ask for a new striker, and I think that's good that he supports Nicolas Jackson and Broja and waits for guys like Nkunku to return back to the team. However, he will hold conversations with the sporting directors and the owners over potential recruitment before this month ends. So let's see what happens. There is flexibility on Pochettino's side to maybe add another attacking player, but I feel like if that's the case, we have to be smart. I don't tend to like short-term signings because they aren't really needed in the future. And I think Nkunku should be back at some point. Carnes has just made his first return back to the team after picking up that injury against West Ham, and I think that he deserves a lot of minutes. And slowly our squad is starting to come back, week by week, month by month. I don't see Dybala happening, to be honest, and it simply comes down to this. He picked up another small muscular injury when Roma lost 2-0 to Lazio. He's now in doubt to play against Milan this weekend, and we already have many players that have hamstring injuries and muscular injuries. Even though he's at an incredible fee and price, it just doesn't make sense for us to make a move for someone that also is been suffering and plagued with injuries this season. He literally returned back to the Roma team. He was out injured with a hamstring injury, and now he's broken down again. And he's always had issues with muscular injuries throughout his career. It's a shame, but I just think if you were serious about making a move for him, or keeping the option open at least by holding dialogue, see where his head's at, it's not going to happen in January. You're going to wait until the summer window right now. But the fact that we did pick up talks again, I feel like there could be something here. Let's see what happens. Let's see what the summer window brings as well too, because if Pochettino now will get more of a say, I guess that means we might see more experienced heads complementing the young players in this team. So that's the latest around Dybala. How do you guys feel about the story? And now let's discuss one of the most tangible stories of this window. We have more reports around Messinho himself in Estevao Willian. Now it seems like there is some good news on the horizon right now, because are we getting close now to securing one of the premium teen talents in the world? It seems like that could be the case, as we are getting close now to agreeing a deal to sign him. And this comes in hindsight of knowing the fact that both Willian and his agent had originally been hoping to persuade Palmeiras to be able to find better negotiation terms with Barcelona, because Estevao Willian ideally prefers to sign for Barcelona. That's the club of his dreams. Messi is like his footballing role model, and he loved to follow in his footsteps, and I can completely understand that for this young kid, right? Anyway, the good news is it seems like Barcelona may be out the race to sign him. They're prioritizing, of course, registering Vitor Roque. They must sell someone to make sure Roque is part of their, squad for this season. And they definitely need reinforcement up front for them. So this is a very good distraction that works in our favor. More positive news too, it seems like Paris Saint-Germain may also be ruling themselves out for making a move to sign him. That's PSG, that's Barcelona potentially out the running to sign this player. I guess he's ours, right? Well, let's not get too gassed or carried away. We'll focus on reports. Reports are saying that right now we are close to triggering his 60 million release clause in his deal. As we've known for a while, Palmeiras have been pressuring Willian to make a decision on his career. Him and his agent took that time to find out if Barcelona had any openings to try and make a move happen. It doesn't seem like that's going to be the case anymore. And reports state that we have already sent out officials to trigger the activation of his release clause. Now, I'm curious to know what this is going to be like, because old reports mentioned that our first offer was 20 million upfront with 40 million in add-ons. And now I think to myself, if Paris Saint-Germain and Barca, allegedly are out the running to sign him, and we are the only ones that are willing to pay the money, don't we have some leverage to be able to buy Willian for less money than this release clause, or potentially find incredible, favourable payment structures to pay for his deal over time? As you guys all know, we're one of the clubs that will overpay the release clause if it means we can spread the costs out over 4 or 5 years. That's how we do our business. And if no one else is in the running, don't we have maybe a bit more license to sign Willian for the terms we want to sign him for? I guess time will tell. Regardless though, let's not get too carried away by these reports, because more reports are even mentioning the fact that allegedly the player and his agent are kind of unaware of our interest in him. So I don't really understand how this works in the timeline, because we've been talking about Estevao Willian now for 4 months, since October time, so not really understanding that one. But it is a reminder that there's still a lot of twists and turns in this story, but it's nice to know that at least there is a bit of a positive direction in our favour when it comes to getting this deal signed. Yeah, that's the Messinho news out the way, my friends. Share your thoughts and opinions, and we have a quick update around probably the first choice defensive target we hope to sign, and of course that is Diomande of Sporting Lisbon. Now, reports in Portugal mention that with Diomande set to play in his first AFCON in his young career, naturally scouts will be following this guy like crazy. So you can imagine we have Chelsea scouts that will be watching him in every single game he plays in, for very good reason. And that reason is there's big competition for Diomande. Arsenal, Liverpool are two clubs showing very strong interests, holding small conversations as well too. And realistically, now that so many clubs are showing interest, it probably means that Sporting Lisbon know that, okay, we're set to earn big money, because any interested party must activate his release clause. So I think that's the situation that's set to happen. And if that's the case, it just tells me that, okay, a summer move now will be on the horizon, when guys like maybe Dybala leave, and of course players like Thiago Silva leave as well too. I just think right now in January it makes no sense, but maybe this is the part where I sound a bit cynical, but I think to myself, how many multi-million-pound defenders do we need? Diomande alongside flipping Disasi, Badiashile, Levi Cole, Wesley Fofana. Come on, it seems a bit overkill in my opinion. And I think a move for Diomande would only suggest maybe, I don't know, is Disasi going to be shown the door immediately? Who knows? Or is there doubts around Wesley Fofana? Are there things that's getting picked up by the medical team that we just don't know about? But even then, it makes me uncomfortable that, any player could pick up an injury anytime and your career could be instantly over, because we seem to have more money than patience. I just think that when you're going to invest so much money into young players, I think you must accept the risk that comes with that. And I feel like we want all the rewards. We don't want to take any of the risk that comes with that. And I just don't see how it's going to create a better balance, because I think if you're at Man City, for example, where they have lots of first team caliber defenders right in their team, I think it works for them because a lot of them are experienced. A lot of them have kind of hit their peaks already, and it's all about just longevity and remaining consistent now. And I think for us, on the other hand, most of our guys have not reached their potential. They've not hit their peaks whatsoever. And I just feel uncomfortable by the fact that they'll have to battle it out for minutes. And it's is that the best, most conducive way to maximize potential and talent? I don't know if that's the case. What Diomande on the left, is it going to be on the right? Cole on the left hand side, Badia back up, Fofana back up already, Disasi just there. 5 centre backs that's costing you an absolute fortune. It's a bit crazy to me. And I just think, sorry, if it's getting to a point where you need a 4th choice or 5th choice defender, keep Chalobah, and also guys like Alfie Gilchrist, who comes on, does a job, and you can clearly tell that he's confident playing at this level, and there could be more from him. And let's not even forget the talented Bashir Humphreys. He's a unicorn, a 2-footed defender, equally good on his left and right foot. There's a reason why Pochettino was using this guy a lot during pre-season, yeah? So I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I just think that I'm so desensitized now to signings, and I'm past thinking that, we can buy our way into success. I just think that it's all about team development now, building some repertoire in the team, some chemistry, and creating the environment where these players can actually express themselves to a point where they can maximize the key attributes in their game. and of course minimize their weaknesses as well too. So my friends, that is all the news today. I've been looking forward to doing a news video. I would do even more, but obviously it's kind of old news right now. Let's see what January has to bring before the window ends, my friends. So on that note, I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll see you guys later with some more videos. Cool.